Hello everybody, it's Tim here again, here another video, this time to do a review for Predator Badlands, which me and the wife actually checked out yesterday. I'll go ahead and say it, from 1 to 5 stars, I'd give this a 5 out of 5 stars. It is not a perfect movie, it is not better than the first Predator movie, but I would say this is my favorite sequel. If I had to rank them, 1 would be number 1, this would be number 2. Number 3 would probably be, not counting the AVP films, number 3 would probably be Prey, and 4, I would probably put, just off the top of my head, 4 I'd probably put like Predators, the one with Adrian Brody. 5 I'd put like Predator 2. And in the last place would be Predator 4, which was awful. The Shane Black one is the worst. It is the only bad solo Predator movie, in my opinion. Now, this film is not perfect. It does have some flaws, which I'm going to get into. The story of the film, it's the first time we're getting a movie from the Predator's point of view, where the Predator's name is like Deke, I believe. And you can probably infer most of this, but with the Predators, like species or whatever, they're all pretty much like alpha male assholes, you know? Like they want to get rid of like anyone who's weak or whatever out of the clan, which makes sense because they're a warrior race, kind of similar to like the Spartans. So with the Predators here, the one Deke or whatever, he's born smaller. He's a runt, and he's also a kid still, but he is obviously a runt, and he's tiny for a Yautja, which they actually use the name from the comics here for the Predator species, which I like that they brought that in. I'm not sure if they said this word in any of the other ones until now, but I appreciate that they brought it in from the comics. That's cool. And his father's pretty much like a huge dick and wants his brother to like kill him, but his brother doesn't. He can't kill him because, of course, he loves him, so he rescues him and sends him out of there. And his the brother is killed by the father. And the character Deke gets stranded. You've seen it. You've seen the trailer, on this alien planet, which he was planning to go to anyway, because there's this creature named, like, I think it's like the Calisk, maybe. It's like this big beast that all other predators are like afraid of because it's like so hard to kill, and so he wants to kill it to prove himself to his clan, so that he can go back to him or whatever and be a member of the group. And you kind of get like a theme of family here, really, throughout the movie, where the predator, you learn lessons like through the movie in terms of themes, like just because someone's related to you doesn't really make them family. Like, yeah, his dad is biologically his dad, but he's not really, that doesn't make him his family, because he's a dick. You kind of get that theme with like the character Ella Fanning plays in here, which is a Weyland-Yutani android, a synth, because she has like a another robot or whatever, another android who she also plays, who is pretty much the main villain of the movie. I think named Thea. Or no, Thea is her name, and I forget like the evil one's name, but either way, she plays both, and she kind of the good Ella Fanning sees her basically as like her sister or whatever. But by the end of the movie, once she realizes that she doesn't really care for her or whatever, that she's like, you are not my sister. So that kind of fits in with like the family theme of the movie or whatever, and also this predator's journey throughout the film of how he learns to accept himself for who he is instead of trying to live up to like the standards of this clan or whatever that his father was a part of. He learns to just like make his own, his own clan, his own group, his own family. By the end of the movie, that's pretty much his arc, where he realizes that working as a team, being like a team leader, can be just as powerful, like, hunting wise, as it would be doing it solo, because that's the way the Yautja are. They're prideful, so they want to do everything solo. They're basically just a bunch of dude bros who work out all the time and measure each other's dicks, like, I got the biggest trophy, I got the biggest. That's pretty much what their species is, which is actually pretty funny. But yeah, so that's pretty much his arc throughout the movie. I will say, seeing it from the Predator's point of view and doing the story from his point of view, it does hurt the mystique of the creature. It does take that away, because it's one of the big reasons why that first movie works, is because of the suspense of really not knowing what the Predator is. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because by the time you get to like the 7th or 8th film this is, counting the AVP films, you have to divulge more of the Predator. You have to do it. And doing the film from the Predator's point of view and making him the star, I think is a really good way to do that. But inevitably going this direction, it wouldn't matter how you did it, you're going to lose some of the mystique of the creature. It's unavoidable. It's just something you have to sacrifice. And I'm okay with that, because what they give me in return, I feel like, works for the story that they're being told. Now, you may not personally want this story. You may have just wanted like another like more horror suspense type driven story of just like a predator versus another random human or whatever, maybe even like another random time period like Prey was. And if you wanted that, no, you won't like this. But if you accept this film for what it is and you're okay with the direction that they take by focusing on the Predator, they do it well. They take the right approach for it, having it be like a space adventure action flick, which is what this is. Even at one moment, it kind of felt like Star Wars, and it's like a better Star Wars movie than the Star Wars prequels and the sequels, which is funny. But this is like the third Dan Trachtenberg Predator movie. I forgot to rank in like Killer of Killers when I was talking about like the Predator movies. I actually think I like that one now a little bit more than Prey because it was a bit more original. Whereas Prey is what makes it original or original enough is putting it in like a past time period with a Native American theme, but at the same time the movie is still just like a basic Predator story. Really, it's a Predator versus Native American, just like the first one was Predator versus soldiers or whatever. But or Predator versus cops with the second one. But this film feels the most original to me in terms of the sequels, which is what I like about it. And like I said, though, it's not a perfect film. This film is not on the level of the original, not for me. But like I said, it is my favorite sequel thus far. Problems I have with the film is when he is on the other planet or whatever, there is like one moment or whatever where he's kind of like with Ella Fanning, he's got her on his back or whatever, where it does look a little bit too green screened. But at the same time, it's unavoidable that they're going to use some green screen and a lot of CGI because this takes place on the planet, and everything on the planet is alive and trying to kill the predator or anything in the vicinity. The plants, the animals, they're just all trying to kill whoever's there. So obviously, this is going to be loaded with CGI. It's basically like kind of like Predator meets Star Wars or Predator meets Guardians of the Galaxy, even. So it's unavoidable. There's going to be a lot of CGI. You can't do it any other way. But at the same time, I do kind of miss that practical effects of that original film, or even the second one, or most of the others, really. But at the same time, I also get why we get a lot of CGI here. But the green screen in one part did kind of take me out of it. But other than that, I didn't really have a problem with any of the effects. There was a little creature here, like this little monkey-looking creature. We actually find out towards the end of the movie is actually like the child of the callous creature or whatever that the predator's trying to hunt. That is a bit coincidental if the predator would like make friends or whatever with like the child of this creature that he's trying to hunt, you know. But at the same time, the creature is a bit overly cute. It's obviously there as it's something that Disney put in. Like I can feel a little bit of the Disneyfication of this movie, but not to the point to where it really like, aggravates me. It's not like so like this still feels like a Predator film. It does. It still feels like a Predator movie. The soul of the franchise is not lost here. This still feels like a Predator movie. But I will say, and it's not just like even a Disney thing. Like I've never been like a hugely into like overly cutesy characters that obviously feel like they're just kind of put in a movie just to like sell toys. Like even like Baby Groot and Guardians of the Galaxy. What was it like? Was it 2? I was like, I don't really need this because and even like kind of like Scrappy Doo and some of the cartoons or whatever. I'm like, I don't really need this overly cuteness. It's kind of forced to me. It just always feels like it's there to sell toys. But at the same time, the character. It isn't a horrible character. It's a fun character. And when he's like kind of warm, he kind of likes the predator and starts warming up to him and stuff, and starts imitating him in a pretty funny scene. The predator like jerks out his like lightsaber type sword he's got that lights up with like looks like a flame on the end of it. And the little creature like he looks over at it, and the little creature's got like a stick with like fire on the end of it. That was cute. It was funny, and the audience I watched it with thought it was hilarious. It was charming, but at the same time a bit too cutesy for me. A little too Disney-fied there. And I will say Ella Fanning's character, the Weyland-Yutani android or whatever, the synth that Deck the Predator meets, when she first like is introduced for the first half of the movie, like first act, she's overly jokey. They're forcing the humor way too much, and I get it. She's supposed to be an android. That's the part of the humor is that she doesn't understand. This like how to communicate on like a human level sometimes. So she just like talks and talks and talks, and it's just like joke when she's first introduced. And I was like, really starting to hate this character. I'm starting to hate her. For a second, I was like, man, Predator, if you just took her and just like slung her over the hill because she's missing half her body, I would not complain. But in the second half of the movie, they tone her down and she becomes more subtle or whatever. And I like that. I liked her then, and I think she does a good job overall in terms of the acting in this movie. And then her playing the villain or whatever, she also does a good job. But I will say the android villain version of her or whatever is one note. You get the idea, yeah, that she's basically doing it because she just accepts, well, this is what we're made for, this is our purpose, whatever. It was just a bit too basic, villain-wise. But the action fight at the end or whatever, when the Predator basically like teams up with the callous type creature or whatever, and they're like having to fight Ella Fanning and all the other androids and synths that work with her, that was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool fight, pretty cool action, and it reminds me of like the ending of the original Predator, like how Arnold had to like use his environment and everything because he had to go low tech. And at the end of this movie, that's what the Predator does here. So it's obviously a homage to that original climax of the original movie, and it works. It worked for me. I liked it. He uses like the environment of the planet or whatever to help fight the androids, including like razor blade style grass, which I was like, shit, everything on this planet really does want to kill you. At first I was like, the razor blade grass is a little silly, but by the time I got to the end of the movie and he actually started using it as a weapon, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And some people are like, well, this movie's PG-13. Does it, sacrifice the soul of the franchise or whatever? Because the franchise is like a hard R. For the most part, except for that first Alien vs. Predator movie. So they're like, does it lose, the essence of what this series is? No, making this R wouldn't have changed anything, not for the story that they're doing here, because of the fact that this takes place in space and all the creatures are aliens or androids. That's the only reason this is rated PG-13. That's it. I will say I did kind of feel the rating a little, though, with the humor of the Ella Fanning character when she's just like spouting off jokes. That was a little much, like I've said, or it wasn't much, like I said, for the first act anyway, but it got better by the rest of the movie. That's when I kind of felt it, but for the rest of the movie or whatever, the PG-13 rating didn't bother me at all because it felt like it fit here, and basically, like I said, it's only rated PG-13 because the characters don't bleed red blood like humans. That's literally it. Other than that, it's the same type of Predator movie, except from the Predator's POV. In terms of like the fact that it's serious. But yeah, this is more of a, by the end, this is more of a blockbuster movie. It feels the most professional, like in terms of the budget and everything, because of that, out of all the Predator movies. So at the same time, I do feel like a little bit of the soul of the franchise is sacrificed a little with this movie by the end of it, because it is a more like blockbuster movie. But that's also at the same time, again, that's really the only way you could do this. If you're going to tell it from the Predator's point of view, I would not have wanted this story to be on Earth again. If you're going to tell it from the Predator's point of view, I want to see it in space. I want to see him go on a space adventure. I don't want to just be on boring ass Earth again. So yeah, if you're going this direction, it's going to feel more of like a blockbuster space adventure movie. It's just inevitable. It will. So overall, I'd give this a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an awesome flick. It is my second favorite of the series. Yes, it loses a little bit of the essence of what this franchise has been. But at the same time, what we get in return, I think works, and I think is really enjoyable. If you are a fan of the Predator creature, I think it works. Like, if you don't give a shit about the Predator creature and you just watch these movies, it's like suspense action flicks or whatever with the Predator versus humans, then yeah, you probably won't like this. But I care about the creature. I think the creature's cool, and seeing it from his point of view and everything, learning more about his culture or diving into it more anyway, is really interesting for me. The ending joke of the movie was pretty funny, where after like the Predator, like Deke or whatever, goes back to his planet and he's got his like new clan with him, like Ella Fanning's character and that little monkey creature or whatever, the callous like child or whatever, and he kills his father in combat. And then like this ship shows up or whatever with a bunch of ships, and Ella Fanning's like, "Is this friends of yours?" And he goes, "No. It's my mother." And that's cuts off. That was kind of funny, and I like the fact that they're bringing in like the female predators or whatever, hinting at them because they are from the comics, and we've never had them in movies before. And if they make another one of these, like I could see like a female predator maybe being like a big part of the plot, or maybe even the main character or main story, because that's something we haven't had before. And that feels like what Dan Trachtenberg is trying to do with the movies that he's directing in this series. It feels like he's trying to do something different each time. What I would like from another one of these is I really want them to figure out a way to get Schwarzenegger back in live action, not just in like an animated sequel to Killer of Killers, but somehow back in live action, and Adrian Brody as well. And if you can somehow pull off like an Avengers level Predator movie where everybody comes back on all the other films and it just connects them all, including like this one with Deke coming back, maybe even teamed up with Arnold somehow, like that would be cool. I'd be cool with that if you could pull it off, but but it would have to be rated R. Like, I'm okay with the PG-13 rating of this film because I feel like it fits the story that's being told here, but I don't want this to become like a norm. I don't want like the next Predator movie or whatever to be PG-13 as well. Like, I want to see something different from this. As long as the ratings fit the movies, the stories that are being told, though, I'll be okay with it. But I really would prefer like a rated R movie. Like, I don't want a direct sequel to this or whatever, like another space adventure movie. I wouldn't want the same thing. Not in this style, anyway. It would have to be something different. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed this film. The audience liked it. My wife enjoyed it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.